Hi guys, so we are going to go over one of your poetry analysis practices from yesterday, alright? So for our purpose, I am going to use Harlem by Langston Hughes. So I'm going to look at my steps. The first one says survey or read the poem, then monitor for meaning or words I don't know. So I'm going to read my poem. It's called Harlem. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore, and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? So here I'm going to take some of those words that I'm not super familiar with. I'm just going to copy and paste them because we're on a Google Doc here. So the first one is deferred, and I'm going to ask Google to define that for me. So I see it says here to put off, maybe for a later time. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have that in there. Perfect. And I'm going to keep looking here. Fester, that's an interesting word. I'm not sure I know the meaning for that one, so I'm going to go back. Ooh, okay, this one's gross. So it talks about like a wound becoming septic or kind of nasty. So I'm just going to say like when a wound gets nasty. Ugh, that's a gross word. Okay. And then syrupy, that one's kind of an interesting word too. I'm going to see if I can find a definition for that one. I think I know what it means, but I want to double check. Okay, so yeah, it means what I thought. So having the consistency or sweetness of syrup. So just like syrup. Perfect, okay. So I don't think there's any other words in this poem I don't know. So I can move to step 2. So for this, oh, actually, I forgot this part. So after the first read, what is this poem about? So when I read it, I heard about dreams. Now that I know some of those words, I think that it means probably like questioning what happens when you leave your dreams. Right, so it's just kind of talking about like what happens when you leave them. You don't do much with them, okay? Awesome, so next one is going to be my close reading of the poem. So I'm going to have to read it again. And while I do that, I am going to find a couple of different things. So rhyme scheme and meter are the first I'm going to look for. So we got, what happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? Awesome. So rhyme scheme, I know I'm looking for things that rhyme at the end. It's the last word of the sentence. So deferred, up, and deferred don't rhyme. So I'm going to pick a new letter there, okay? So I'm going to go back. Okay, sun, up, and deferred, those don't rhyme, so I'm going to do a new letter. Sore, sun, up, and deferred, nope, none of those rhyme, so I'm going to do a new letter. Run, oh wait, I've seen that already because that's sun. That's going to be C. Okay, so far we got an A, B, C, D, C. Meet, that does not rhyme with run, soar, sun, up, or deferred, so that's going to be a new letter. It's going to be E. Over, meet, run, soar, sun, up, and deferred. New one, that's going to be letter F. Sweet, that kind of rhymes with meat, so I'm going to do the same one there. Sags, sweet, over, meet, run, soar, sun, up, deferred. I don't see any that it rhymes with there. Load, sag, sweet, over, meet, run, soar, sun, up, deferred. Nope, that's going to be a new one, okay? And then explode. That's going to rhyme there together, okay? So when I read this poem, I'm not sure that it has much of a meter. So I've labeled the rhyme scheme here, right? And we could say up here what it does, right? But for meter, I'm going to say there is no specific meter in this poem. I don't really feel a rhythm when I read it, right? I just kind of am going for it on this one, okay? Repetition or patterns. I don't really see a lot of repetition. I do, I guess, see here where they question a lot, so I could mark that as something that is repeated a couple different times. So I could talk about that up here. It asks a lot of questions, leaves them unanswered. So really that's the only thing I see repeated here. Okay? So now I have to go back and do the tone, and I know that the tone is kind of the feeling that the author is trying to give, or the feeling that the poem is trying to give. So when I look here at the poem, I really am kind of getting a tone of questioning, right? That's going to be a big one. or wondering, we could say. I could say that there is a tone of maybe wanting to know, right? It's kind of asking questions that we don't really have that answer for. There could also be a theme of, a tone of maybe nerves, or kind of like nervousness, because there's just not a lot of sure things happening in this poem, right? Okay, so some words I'm gonna say that help with that. I know that word deferred. Right, that's a big one. I would say that word fester does not give me a good image in my mind, right? Okay, other words that help create that tone. I think explode, right? That is kind of an uneasy, not staying the same. Stink, like rotten meat. All of those can help me create those kind of nervous, wanting tones there, okay? Figurative language, so let's take a look. So I would say the biggest one in this one is personification, because it's taking a dream, something that's not alive or not real, and it's making it do different things. So it's talking about drying up, right? We could say that raisin in the sun, that's a simile here, okay? So here I'm going to say we have personification. We have a simile. I'm going to mark these in pink down below. Okay, so here I would say really the whole thing about the dream being deferred and how we use that is going to be our personification, like a raisin in the sun. Stink like rotten meat, those are both similes. Okay, like a syrupy sweet, also a simile. And again, personification here, you kind of get that image of it being weighed down. Like a person would be if they were carrying something really heavy, right? Or does it explode? Personification. Cool. All right. Okay. And then unusual punctuation, use of some different end marks or anything like that. Here I noticed that they do, right? So here we have at the end, there is some dashes. So I'm going to look at that. Like that, right? And I think this is because he can't finish his thought, right? So it kind of leaves you with, again, that uneasy kind of feeling, because it keeps taking you to a question and stopping, taking you up to that question and stopping. Okay, so guys, that's my second reading, okay? So third one, do a third read and start asking questions. So I'm looking for, why does the author include some of these devices? How are these techniques contribute to the deeper meaning, and what is the theme? So I'm going to read it again. What happens to a dream deferred? Does it dry up like a raisin in the sun, or fester like a sore and then run? Does it stink like rotten meat, or crust and sugar over like a syrupy sweet? Maybe it just sags like a heavy load, or does it explode? So I'm going to really think about this question and think about, why does the author choose to do those things, okay? Okay, so guys, I took a minute to answer those questions. So I think that the author uses questions and dashes and that kind of uneven rhyme pattern that we had to really leave the reader uneasy. I think it's talking about how dreams can die if we don't act on them. So it wants you to kind of feel that with the author to inspire you to act, right? And for themes, I said regret, wanting, or again, a call to action. I think it really, really wants you to not just leave your dreams hanging, right? We want to act on them, or we want to at least address them, okay? And then we have our last part here, so justify and defend. So what is the deeper new meaning you can get after analyzing the poem? What effect did this poem have on you as a reader, and what created this effect? And use specific examples from the poem. Awesome, guys, so I took a minute to answer that. So I said, I think that this poem is putting out a call to action to all people by telling them that they need to act now, not later, on their dreams. The images of dreams that are not acted on are vivid and shocking, like the rotten meat, the festering wound, and that allows me to see how important it is to take actions on our dreams, or any dream, okay? So that's your whole analysis there, guys. I hope this really helps you check your work. Please send your English teacher questions if you have them, and thanks for joining me.